Hi, this is the art teacher at the International School London, Marc Smith, and this is my second time working on this multilingual mother tongue digital storytelling research project. And as it is a research project, Mirela, my colleague, has collected a lot of data. She's filmed loads, I've filmed a bit, the Hungarian teacher filmed a little bit, and rather than send it to all the professors, I thought I'd put it into some kind of order and then send it to you with some thoughts. So the first thing we did was brainstorm. We watched some of the films that the Goldsmiths had sent us, and then we brainstormed on the theme of belonging. And what came out from this was these ideas of a robot family, not belonging to a time period. There was this idea of the planets, and maybe like Pluto could not. But even at the beginning, from watching some of the other films, they had this idea of some kind of contrast, of it being happy, but then also being a sad element, and some kind of build-up or crescendo in it, with a change. In the group, we had two Hungarian brothers, one in primary school and one in Year 9, and three Brazilian students who were in grade 10 and grade 9. None of whom particularly got on with each other at all. Very different people. And here's where I learned something really huge. As you know, I think this is the best project I've ever been involved with. And one of the huge things I discovered was about teamwork. Now, when we think of teamwork, we tend to think of this: everybody working together, achieving a task. However, what I really reflected upon was that a team actually looks more like this. Everyone is completely different. And that's what we had in this team. Completely different learners, totally different approaches to thinking and to exploring ideas, totally different interests. But animation, and filmmaking in general, is a real team effort. Stop motion animation, everybody has to work together. So this presented some challenges, as you'll see later. So the big breakthrough was that Balint, our youngest student, who didn't have the language skills to contribute to any of the discussions, he had only been in the country a few months, suddenly created this fantastic robot out of some wooden stuff that I'd left lying around. And so we decided to really make this robot a focus of the project. Then I covered the tables with loads of electronic crap and shiny things and anything sort of robotic that I could find. And we had them play with it, making a mood board and then printing out pictures of things that they could that might inspire them in a sort of robotic way. We then had the film workshop, which got them feeling like filmmakers. I can't describe how perfectly formed this project is. The intervention, the training with the BFI, and then the final sort of external factor of the film at the BFI at the end really brings a push, a focus, an external motivation that really helps the kids focus and do something wonderful. It's a huge part of the success of the project. Now, for several weeks, we've been trying to write a story about belonging. And we'd sort of got somewhere with this idea of the robot. But this is where the team dynamics started to show. This is quite typical.
I think he finds the new robot. So
a city?
Maybe like,
he wanders into a city.
maybe.
So.
But that had to film. So, yeah.
Sorry about the appalling filming. But you've got one person having some ideas. He's not that comfortable about sharing them because the other ones don't like his ideas that often. One person singing. The youngest hasn't said anything, and it's not that they're not sure about what to do. So they come up with a couple of scenes, and and don't know how to finish it off because they feel they've got the idea of the robot who won't fit in, but then what? So I'm a big fan of not quite planning stuff and improvisation. Jennifer Saunders, for Absolutely Fabulous, used to sort of sketch out a vague plan of what was happening, tell everybody what was going to go on in that script that day, and then they'd do it, but there'd be a lot of improvisation. And I figure that if the BBC is going to spend £1 million an episode on making something that creates TV history, why should children have to plan everything they do? So I said, okay, well let's start making some robots. And so we took the stuff that was in the room and some old computers, and I encouraged them to smash up the computers and stick them together wrong, and to stick stuff with glue guns. And the room was filled with rubbish deliberately to allow them to find things to play with. I want an art room to be a space where they are looking around thinking, oh, I need that, I think I'll use that. I don't get things for children, as you'll see here.
Warmer, keep going. Warm. Yep.
What is this?
What's what?
This.
So that's grade 7s. They're making fantasy Mexican creatures. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes for experiments, and then we're going to do some playing with these things. So you just plug it in over there. Down there.
So I thought I was being really clever, getting this massive cardboard box that they could then customise really easily, be unafraid of cutting holes in it if they want to film from the top. But actually it didn't quite work. Because it was too high and they couldn't get around the sides easily enough, they found it difficult to collaborate around this station. So looking back on it now, I'm noticing that at this stage, B.A.D. was absolutely the bad guy. He was the villain.
There we are.
And in terms of thinking about Dr. John Jessel's question, what is critical thinking and how does it happen? The fact that these kids have then looked at this and said, well actually, this guy who looks and sounds evil is not what he seems. That seems like quite a mature mental step. So at this point we got a bit stuck. We weren't actually quite sure what to do to build the story. So I asked a drama teacher, and she said, why don't you try writing the backstories for the puppets? So we tried it. They got to write the name, the voice, and what experiences they'd had. And in retrospect, this was brilliant because it allowed Mirela and me to really give lots of positive reinforcement to them testing out using their voice, as you'll hear now.
Okay.
So, and now we're going to hear the voice of B.A.D. Go.
All humans prepare for your being defended.
Nice. Anyone want to add to that? No? Okay, so Juan. Is there anything else we want to add to B.A.D. in the character?
Can you say that in Portuguese?
Why?
Because it's a mother tongue program.
Okay. Preparem-se para ser defendidos. That's it.
Okay.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool because you will be speaking in your languages and translation will be in English.
Can you do that again? Keep adding some more Portuguese stuff to it. No?
Preparem-se para ser defendidos. Estou aqui só para defender vocês de possíveis ameaças.
What do we think, people?
Cool.
Yeah? Yeah? Cool?
You're saying how like already should be defended like,
From possible
that it's going to be
threats.
defending only like the people.
Okay,
Great,
awesome.
good stuff.
Right, should we move on to the
But
next group?
he was programmed to protect people, not protect robots. So when the robots cops try to arrest him, he thinks they are threats and accidentally destroys a whole battalion of them.
Cool.
Good, great.
Okay,
Okay.
Juan,
getting excited.
Who wants to go next? Who wants to go next?
I'm gonna fix you, B.A.D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Go for it.
Our character is called IL29 because my name starts with I and his with L, so IL. And our ages combined equals 29, so that's 29. So that's why. So he's modern, he's clever, he's educated, advanced. He has the power to control any other robots, but he was built to be sympathetic. So he has the power to do it, but he chooses not to because he's educated and he knows, and he's sympathetic, so he knows, understands the situation. You know, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he not control the others. He just give them orders, like, but not bad orders, like really good orders to protect anybody or to.
Improve them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you think of an order and say it in Hungarian and in Portuguese?
You say first.
Yeah.
In order.
Let's see how the voices fit the
Yes.
characters. Let's try
Yeah.
some things.
Oh, and also before the voice, like he's a really professional and really clever. Like he's the most educated robot. Like
So educated voice.
Okay.
Like,
How you
clever.
guys tried English first and then you
and he's really intelligent. It's really important.
How about English
He's
first and then the
programmed.
other languages?
So what should we have him say?
Posh voice.
Okay.
But you have
Okay.
posh
Wait a
voice.
So
second.
Portuguese order. Okay,
Like
come on.
sophisticated words.
Okay.
The Portuguese.
Okay.
How about first in English and then
I
Posh?
don't know the English.
He doesn't speak English? Okay, then how
So
about
what's the
Just produce,
sentence?
hold on.
What's the sentence could be in English? Like what
Okay.
does it mean?
Yeah.
Maybe how would he speak to the other robots?
So if you give an order, for example, an order in
Ah.
English.
Like live in peace.
Uh-huh.
Leave in peace.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
I don't know. In Portuguese, it sounds like viver em paz. Viver em paz.
Can you make that even
Oh,
more?
like live in peace.
So he's
Yeah.
the most human one, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
So
he's sympathetic.
how can we exaggerate that?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Uh-huh.
Éljetek békében.
Or what's that?
Live in peace.
Leave in peace. Area attack. Okay.
That's
And how can we make him really human and sophisticated in Hungarian or in Portuguese?
It's very posh.
Let's try it. Try out some sounds.
I mean, like not like he always know what to say, like never stops, and also I like to speak really clearly to understand him really clearly.
Okay. Good. Ooh, wait. Okay, and let's
Can I
just
ask you
do the
something?
last.
I think you can start now, Matthias.
I know. I'm just thinking. So my robot is called B.A.D. or B.A.D. He was supposed originally designed by the government of the United States of America along with Germany, and well, he was supposed to be a robot to fight in the wars. He was supposed to protect people in an attack by the enemy, innocent people really. But he was also designed to. He was programmed to eliminate threats that could harm other people around him. But they saw that he was too violent, that his firepower was too much, so they decided to stop the project as it could cause too much destruction.
Great.
So they sealed him in a base because he was the first prototype, and he had only one mission before he was deactivated. So 100 years have passed and he's still down there deactivated. When a bunch, two humans, they are really robot piece collectors, they found this base. They thought it was cool to collect pieces of B.A.D. But they accidentally mess with the circuit in his head and they accidentally turn him on again. And as they are not armed, so he doesn't harm them. He just goes out of the base to go back to the city and to work because he's programmed to protect the people of the city. But as people haven't seen his race for quite a while, 100 years, people get scared because they've never seen a robot like him before and they don't know where he came from. He tries to make an attempt to contact the police, but the police tries to arrest him, to deactivate him.
Okay, we're getting into a full story here, so I think that let's just stick with the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
just about the
that's
character.
so
Just
that's
what-
bad.
Okay, so now that we're ready, alright. Name of the robot is Robert the Robot. His voice is human, but yet a robot-like voice. His age is 50 to get no one confused. This robot is supposed to be the second robot created for the project, which would be used to protect the humans. But he's totally different than the first one because he was created with a human-like body and it was changed during the process. He was later rejected and then the third one was being made. He was very popular at first, but then once he was started to do things he was not supposed to, the government just thought it was better to cancel it and reject it for everybody's best. So I guess you like the voice, right?
Yep. Let's hear the voice. The early version
Portuguese
robot.
early version.
Again, human yet robot-like. Hola, I'm Robert the Robot.
Nice.
Ooh,
Nice.
this is
Good
not
stuff.
good.
I'm just going to fast forward 4 or 5 weeks where you can hear them really expressing themselves in their mother tongue, expressing character and drama and situation. And you don't need to speak the language to understand that these kids are much more confident.
Sua máquina de lavar, velha!
Volta aqui! Nós só queremos te colocar no seu lugar.
Sim, o museu.
And now to the youngest member of the group, the primary student, who had said almost nothing in discussions, was really, really shy about his English, and then astonished everyone by making that robot. And then, bang, in the same amount of time, he wrote all of this, and here he is talking about it.
My robot is made from other robots and it looks very human. And then its mission to go to the Earth and live there. But first, they don't believe he's a human, and they try to kill the robot. But the human saved him, and the robot lived with him. But after the human repaired it, and it really looks a human. And when bad robots came to the Earth, the good robot with his strong armor and his intelligence, he saved his human with he's lived with, and they after he go to the robot goes to his school and the story ends.
So he's learned some human traits
Yes.
from humans.
From humans. Wow, this is
Cool.
really
Nice
cool. Your English has gone so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I really like it. And I always like the idea of this being a more teenage robot. Really
Okay.
cool. Okay,
So-
and
Yes, and
can we
then
get the sound? How do you speak?
Én lenni, védeni ember.
Cool, what's that mean?
I want to defeat human.
I'm a different.
Nice.
What did you say?
I want to defeat human.
I want to defeat.
Defeat? You came
Okay, take it on
That's
now.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and Juan, tell us.
So this was a huge discovery. There was no one in our group who was good at drawing, to be honest, and no one wanted to sketch out a storyboard. So we decided to have one student film with the iPad. He was the student co-researcher, and direct an improvised digital sketch, as you'll see now. Because there's loads of kids who aren't very good at drawing, and it's very quick and it allows the students to practice, change, and improvise, which is a key part of creativity and a part that gets lost when you start planning everything really, really carefully.
Scene 1. We start with a voiceover made by Matthias, voicing B.A.D, describing the setting.
An abandoned military base in the middle of the desert lays down a 100-year-old robot. He's powered by sunlight and has been there for long time since
They deactivated him after the war ended. But today, he's gonna come back. For a light shines through a hole in the base for the first time in 100 years in that base and hits him. That restarts the setting. That restarts the program from B.A.D. and he wakes up. Restarting the program.
And in that time, we play this music.
Restarting the program.
I think this could be quite an exciting discovery for filmmaking in schools, as it's such a fluid way of storyboarding. It allows revisions to be made very quickly and adaptations, both of which are pretty well documented as being a big part of creativity.
Scene 2. B.A.D. wanders off of the base and meets the new, sleeker robot of the future. He's portrayed as bad and ugly. Let's say what they have to say.
Hello friends, how's the day? I love the holidays.
Oh my god, who is that?
Who are you?
My name is B.A.D. Big Advanced Defensor.
You're not supposed to be here.
You big triangular machine. Go away.
You're black.
Let me pass. I have no time to waste with you.
Stop! We are going
Stop.
to kill you.
We're going to shoot you.
Luckily for me, my armor is impenetrable. You cannot harm me, but I can harm you. Get out of my way or I will harm you.
No. Stop.
So at this point, we discussed some things such as black. Is that a form of discrimination that we want to talk about? We talked about how to film fight scenes. We talked about whether fight scenes would be the best. I mean, they're teenage boys. Their natural sort of sense of denouement is a fight. And we had to talk about that and talk about other ways, and this was a key part of the discussion about what we meant, in what we wanted to express in terms of belonging. So then we filmed it again.
2. B.A.D. wanders off of the cave he was sleeping 100 years and meets the new sleeker robots. The new sleeker robots are hostile to B.A.D. while Billy wants to be friends. Look what they have to say.
Hello friends.
Hello.
How was your holidays?
It was terrible.
What
Say,
happened?
who are you?
Oh my god.
Who are you?
Hello, my name is B.A.D.
You're such not expressive. I would rather have a colorful you.
Please, I don't wish you no harm.
You're
I'm just
so
here.
triangular. Go away.
I'm
Fat
just,
big meanie, go away.
I came here.
Go away. We don't care. Go away.
I just came here to protect everyone.
No, you don't have to protect anyone. Go away.
We are
You
created
want-
for this job.
Yeah. Go away.
Fine, I'll go away now.
Yeah.
It's around the main character, a robot called B.A.D., which has been asleep in a military base for 100 years
More than
without...
100 years. You said that before.
The story is around this main character, a robot called B.A.D. He's been asleep in an abandoned military base for 100 years. And he only wakes up now, 100 years later. He's confused. He don't understand what's happening. Then when he comes to civilization, the robots, they reject him. He doesn't want to live in this world anymore, so he goes back into that military base and shoots himself down.
Okay, stop. Slept for 100 years, and he's very old and he's finding a new civilization.
Good.
Yes.
And he's trying to fit there.
Yeah.
And can he fit in it there? Can he fit in the civilization?
Yeah, can he fit in? Yes, that's a,
Description of the characters. Name of the characters.
They are all annoying and more intelligent than B.A.D. and they are also like more perfection.
Robert, the robot.
Perfectionists.
Perfectionist, yeah. And
They are also unaccepting of B.A.D.
It was Victor.
And what? Victor?
Victor, yeah.
Oh, Robert, the robot, and
Okay.
The new robot, Victor and the copper one, they value age very importantly. So the oldest one, or oldness, is viewed as a bad thing or inferior towards the newer one. So the two newer ones are a bit hostile or mean to the robot. You can also say that's also compared with new teenage girls thing, clicky, I'd say. And they're very demanding of that or what they can do. For example, Victor can fly, and appearance is very important. The two new ones look much sleeker with the paint, and the copper one looks very sleek compared with compared with what Rob is made of.
So at this point, Mirela gave Matthias very clear instructions. Go away and write this down. You must have a written narrative if this is what you want to do. I think in terms of what John Jessel was asking about critical thinking, what is critical thinking? How does it happen? I think this is quite amazing because he went away and he sort of synthesized all these bits of ideas. He's having ideas, but he doesn't know how to sort of put them into something that's going to be interesting to other people. He's given lots of chances to test them out. And he goes away and really does some fantastic writing. There's some really thoughtful stuff that really shows how much he reads in his own time, and it comes into his writing now. And I think that must be critical thinking. But I think it's really clear that this wouldn't have happened if he'd just been working alone. Creativity never happens, or doesn't always happen alone. It happens best, particularly writing, when you're working with other people. And he wouldn't have got to this point without the ideas and the discussion and the experimenting with other people.
In the near future, a war threatened the population of the countries. To avoid that, the governments of Europe decided to create advanced robots with the purpose to defend the innocent people. After this war, these robots were decommissioned and made into scrap. Except for one. The B.A.D. Model 2024 was stored in a military base in the desert and forgotten. This robot has then slept 100 years without being disturbed. However, it is the destiny of all hidden things to be uncovered at some point. Now, in the year 2124, the sunlight appears for the first time inside that base, and as the robot is moved by solar energy, that ray will soon enough wake him up.
So let's go behind the scenes of that first scene.
no, let's
have some
yeah, let's make a few.
Okay. Now we need to move like just the fingers a little bit.
Who's going to move the robot? I am, of course. Go there and move it. So everyone be really careful not to touch the camera.
Like just a small finger movement.
Okay.
Wait,
just put him like this.
No,
That's
too big. That's too big. No.
What?
That's too
no,
big.
we need animations, but stop motion.
They start like
Small
that.
by small movements.
Just start the movement.
It's small movements. That's why it's called stop motion.
Matthias, wait. Your head needs to be coming out. Matthias, your head is almost in the shot.
But then he realized it's not gonna work.
Okay.
And he just turned around and pushed himself up with his hands.
Yeah.
Let's try
because
it.
it's going to help us.
Yeah, let's try it. And that's nice. It makes us like him because he's struggling.
What if he moves backwards and he pushes himself on the rocks to stand up? What about that?
But you really don't want to see those rocks if you can help it.
Found a wooden one.
Dá pra ver ou não? Está aqui? Dá pra ver a pedra?
No, he hasn't trusted it.
Initiate the light. Ideal 50. And God said, light be created. Where's the light?
Okay, now I think we should move towards the light.
Where's the light?
Oh, it makes a difference though.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's quite dramatic.
Make it move. What about that?
Okay, let's move.
It feels like we really having a fun.
Oh no, should not fall.
Put the dog.
It seems alright.
Yeah. And just take him off. It's good enough space to take him off. Yeah. Yes. We're done.
Done.
Over iPad.
How do I play it? Thank you, Alan.
Then press the button.
So will you just comment what's happening?
Yeah, okay guys, let's have a discussion about what's happening. What are you pleased with? Feeling
So
shy.
we filmed outside. That was a change from our original
With
plan.
sitting up as
That's the change of our original plan from filming a set. Well, now we use natural light. That like changes every photo, so it's a new experience, new skill.
We decided to be adding a few things from outside to B.A.D. to make him look like his old.
So
Like dust.
I don't think the light is, we're not trying to use natural light. Like that isn't the aim. We're trying to block out natural light and use artificial light is always better.
And what do you
because
think?
the one thing I don't like from today is the natural light.
Yeah.
Because it changes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need, and however, I think it looks great. The background, wow, it looks brilliant,
Much
doesn't
better
it?
than the one
Yes,
side.
much
it looks
better.
perfect.
I think the same thing about light. Like natural light is always changing, but if you have a big and strong like artificial light, it's always the same. And the footage is more professional.
Pauline, what did you want to say, Pauline?
the sitting up is looks cool.
Okay, good.
Okay, so can we quickly watch next week's scene, and then we're going to find a location.
So this happened quite a lot. I said, right, go outside, go and explore the school, find a location where the next scene can be filmed. Because we didn't have time to make sets, and also because I think it's creative thinking, is having that bit of your brain switched on all the time, and thinking, aha, I can use this for this. Okay, first of all, I just want to point out that in the background you've got two fence posts to be buildings that we've just stolen from the playground. Second, what I learnt from this is that animation is very much about teamwork, and in this scene I think everyone's really communicating and doing small bits together, and it's an example of good teamwork.
Is that okay if you see my thing over here?
Leave that one.
Oh god damn it, for the love of... Okay.
Okay, leave that one because after we can see the table. So I think these two can stay there now. Okay. Matthias, move B.A.D. Turn.
Unfortunately, the model B.A.D. proved too hard to move in small sections by some people in that team. They just couldn't cope with it. So we had to reshoot a whole scene in a completely new location. By this point people are tired and pissed off with each other, and they're not communicating.
Yeah. Move him. Te építetted?
Igen.
Áldozz meg.
It's so sad.
Volt mindig rossz.
Hát szerintem azért fogom azt szenvedni.
Hát jó, de én építettem azt.
Melyiket? A fehér?
Nem, azt.
Én hát én fehérre beszélek, az a szép.
Tudtam, meg én építettem be.
And one more step.
And so here's some of the animation from that, where it really is sloppy. It's just not tight enough. It's not communicating. The movements are too big, and I think that breakdown in teamwork is really reflected in the poor animation.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I've tried to push them, steer them, encourage these kids towards the sandpit, is because in art therapy, if you want to qualify to become an art therapist, part of your unit is every single person has to do some art therapy themselves, and they have to have a module in the sandpit. And every art therapist says that this is always the most powerful bit of their art therapy training. This is the bit where everyone ends up crying. It's really, really powerful. Playing with sound is, for some reason, really powerful. And as we've got some kids who have some, attention problems. We're good, Laszlo. It's all good. It's fine. Thank you. Kids who lose concentration easily, that it would be really interesting to get them to play in the sandpit. It would provide stability, like physical stability, but also that sort of safe sense of play, which would make for good animations, because it's easy to move things around, and it's stable, they don't move, and they can draw in it, but I thought it might also be interesting to have that sort of feel good from it. But they resisted coming to the sandpit for quite a bit of this project. They didn't even know there was a sandpit in the field, which is interesting. It shows that they haven't explored their school environment as much as we assume they have.
Yeah. So we were here on this Monday, and we were trying to film that scene we just made over there, but then that failed, and then we had the idea we found this big hole, and then we had the idea to film the entrance of B.A.D. into his cave.
I don't know why it's still there.
We don't know who made it, but it really came in handy now in this time. It really made a good impression.
And it's enough deep
to make the B.A.D. disappear completely, making the impression that he vanished inside the cave.
Well done, boy.
So there were some huge breakthroughs, like this scene shot in the hole. But again, this idea of some people being really good at some things and not so good at other things was a problem. Here are some other scenes that didn't make the cut, but unfortunately these took so long, we didn't then have a chance to refilm them, so we had to make do with cobbled together footage, which the students found very frustrating. So by this point we have an English script, which is great. And then the students decided which bits to translate into Portuguese and which bits into Hungarian. Actually, they swapped at one point. So the robot was going to be Portuguese, and then he became Hungarian, and vice versa. I don't know about you, but in all my experience of language learning, I have never seen students write their own script and then translate it into two mother tongues in one room, type it, and then bring it to life using their voices. I'd say that's pretty multimodal.
What did he say?
Is it something like, my name is...
B.A.D. Okay, so, no, this is like, good afternoon, my name is B.A.D. and I'm working on protect humans or something like this.
Oh, I see.
And then we have Ivan saying terrible.
Emberek védelmét
Jó az!
Something like that.
De nem, nincsen hogyan, nem. Direkt így, hagyja.
Why is scene 3 narration highlighted? Mirela? Why is he?
Because
Then we
remember
don't
last
even
time
have
you were very critical in your thinking, saying that maybe, that's why I put leave question mark, that maybe you don't need this because you can show it with actions, and that's what we were discussing. Can you show this with animation? Do you need it as words? See? So
Because
what, it's
Matthias,
up to
if
you.
you- if
It's
you-
up to you to decide, yeah?
Matthias, if you imagine if you just in the cinema and you still you see a still picture which is not moving and someone saying voiceover, it's pretty boring. And if it's, I don't know, 4 minutes moving and 2 minutes is voiceover, it's really boring.
No, but that one is gonna run from the robots.
No, he's not going to run because he leaves that far because we don't have time to make more.
Actually, we do, but
Yeah, you might be able to film a quick scene of him running
Yeah,
away.
but-
But five minutes B.A.D. like running away, they just send
Yeah,
him
that's
away.
fine by me. We might just
Yeah.
film
He can just walk away like
okay,
he said.
I have the perfect place.
Yeah.
But
Can we try it?
just,
Can we try to film it?
No, so what
you
we need
cannot
to do
just go to
today.
conclusions, but just we almost talk as a group first.
We need to do the dialogue,
Okay, so have you finished?
the robot stills,
Yeah,
I'd
that's
like
okay.
to
chase scene,
Let me
Okay,
start.
let
and
me
narration.
finish. Yeah.
So now they have to translate it into Portuguese.
Okay, let me see that.
Yes, if you just put in Portuguese. Okay, let them put in Portuguese.
Why did you zoom in on the film?
So if you put just put in Portuguese, yeah. Just to
Why
put
did you
context.
zoom in?
But have you written it in English?
Yes, it's in English, but now they want to put Portuguese. Okay, let them put in Portuguese.
Tava deliciosa a camarada? Somente brincando?
So just to recap, there was a creative activity there, there was teamwork, there was time management, there was mother tongue, there was translation, and there was a consideration of audience, which is in all kinds of academic studies, in pedagogy, has been shown to have a big impact on learning. Now, putting it into context of why I think this is really important, Britain has the most diverse workforce in the world. We have more languages from different countries than anywhere in the world. What would happen if you had children using all their heritage languages and other students learning other people's languages, working at this level? We would have the most engaged students and the most versatile workforce in the world, which is why I think this project is so incredibly exciting. So when we brought in voice, suddenly it was like a wind of energy and fun coming into the project. We'd got really bogged down with how we're going to make it and the plot, and the moment we started recording on the voices over the top of the animation, things just became incredibly alive, and things were fun. We started having discussions about, or they were having discussions about, what the Brazilian accent equivalent or dialect equivalent would be of an American redneck. Would it be this voice? Would it be this voice? Unfortunately, I don't have very much footage of all of this, but I've got a few moments of the mother tongue teacher Hungarian just checking on some of the grammar when he's doing the robot voice, and a few other exciting moments.
Az a robot is moved by solar energy array, similar to
Rendszer újraindítása, motorok ellenőrzése, rendszer kész, kamera ellenőrzése, kész, rendszer.
I think you can see the excitement and happiness on their faces, and it does make me wonder. You know, I speak lots of languages. In my French lessons, we never did anything about exploring character and different voices and context, and I wonder how much difference that would have made to my language learning. So what I love about digital storytelling is that you can differentiate so much. This is just one small thing, working one-on-one with one student, and we were just experimenting with different lights. I don't have much recording of it, but talking with this student who found making stuff quite difficult, we could just talk about the light and try out different effects to really good effect.
That's not bad with that strong shadow.
Yeah, it makes no difference. Makes no difference, really.
In this new world, he was hastily rejected by the new generation of androids. He lost his chance in the new world because of them. Well, he hopes it was just a bad dream. It's a poor destiny for someone who was forgotten by the world. Poor robot. A poor ending. The end.
So I think at the end of the day, this film was a success because we had a good script and it was animated well. Why did that happen? Because one student found that he was able to write a really good story. That was Matthias. It was inspired by something made by Balint, our youngest member. Balint, who it turned out, was fantastic with music and sound effects. Laszlo was great at the editing and problem solving of sort of technical things. Ivan was our researcher, and he actually worked best by himself when he filmed some of the scenes, just by himself of the robots talking to the camera. All our students discovered really strong dramatic skills in terms of making voiceovers in their mother tongue. And so by the end of this project, these students who didn't necessarily get on and didn't hang out with each other socially, they had a real appreciation of the skills that the other people in that team had. And this was reinforced by the showing it at the cinema, where everybody's skills were magnified by sort of 3,000. And it became, to be honest, a life-changing event for some of these students and for the families. And this could not have happened, these skills would not have happened in any other part of the curriculum. So for me, it was certainly life-changing in terms of my pedagogy. Thank you for the opportunity.